If you are looking for a definition for robbery, I have got a whole video to show you. Because Arsenal today went to Atletico Madrid, is it the Rehad something Metropolitano? Anyway, Metropolis, whatever it's called, and we were completely shafted and robbed by some pathetic and very weak officiating. The referee made some good decisions, which was forced to go to the screen to overturn. And it's a huge shame because, to be honest, when you think about it, he made some good decisions. So this is what happens, right? Arsenal have a fantastic first half, in my opinion. My heart was beating out of my chest. And then, of course, Viktor Gyökeres, who was sublime, was holding the ball up well, blah, blah, blah. We got a penalty when he was right in front of goal. He gets shoved over by Henzo, what's his name? And that's a penalty. He gets a yellow card. Now, people have said, okay, since he was last man, it should have been a red card. But you should know by now that you don't get a red card for bringing someone down in the penalty with other people around. If he was away, if he was outside the penalty and it was a free kick, that would definitely have been given as a red card. We've seen that happen. But because it was inside the box, it's not a red card. Guys, where have you been, for goodness sake? Anyway. So he stands in front of that goal, and the bullet that went past Black today, you'll be dreaming about it for the next, I don't know how long, for the next week at least, anyway, because we've got them at the Emirates next week. And then, of course, they get the softest penalty in the world. Actually, it was a very unfair penalty. In the Premier League, anything that's deflected off your body is not a penalty. Now, there are sometimes, you remember that Newcastle one where Big Gabby, his hand was up here and it came off his thigh and hit his arm. For me, I count those as penalties. I think they are penalties. I wouldn't mind being given a penalty like that. But in the Premier League, they don't give it, especially this season. We've seen it. And yeah, and I agree with Arteta's come out say, you know what, we know what the rules are, and they're consistently enforcing that rule in the Champions League. We saw it yesterday with Davis, etc., where the penalties were really stupid, off the body to the hand. So basically, if you're in the penalty area, your hand should be literally like that if you're doing anything. And that's a risk you take, to be honest, because when you think about it as well, the idea is that you do not have too much of an advantage over the attacking player. So having your hand out to support yourself, if you're in a natural position, you probably won't be leaning forward. So for me, I don't mind that being given as a penalty. I can't lie. It was silly because we don't get them in the Premier League, but in the Premier League, I don't agree with them. Like I said, Big Gabby, Newcastle for me was 100% penalty, although it wasn't given as a penalty to Newcastle. Right. So Julián Álvarez, yeah. At this point in the second half, Julián Álvarez is like cooking. The guy was cooking. He stands in front of that spot and he blasts that ball in the back of the net. David Raya did not even move an inch. He was like, it's gone in the back of the net. David Raya is terrible at penalties, you guys. Very bad. Like competitively, at least All Black went the right way. You know what I mean? David Raya didn't even try that thing. Anyway. And then, nearer the end, in the 82nd minute, we had that penalty where Eze gets to the ball first and he gets brought down. The ref gives it as a penalty because it is a freaking penalty. Gets given as a penalty. And then there's a big uproar. Simeone is screaming at everybody. The fans are like threatening to throw the toilet bowl as well. I mean, they probably ran out of, toilet paper. So they were going to root out the toilets and throw them on the pitch if the ref was not going to go and overturn that thing. And he overturned it, which is, like I've said, you've heard me, guys. I know I'm an Arsenal fan. I gave that, and a lot of people don't agree with that penalty, which Atletico got. I'm happy to give it. Because for me, it's an unfair penalty because we're used to it in the Premier League. But for me, if your hand is out there, yeah, it's a penalty. And it's not ball to hand. kind of thing. You know, there are those which come so close, you can't do anything about them. So anyway, it gets overturned and this is the worst thing and really costs us a win. I went for 0-0. We got 1-1. I would have preferred 0-0, to be honest. That's what I wanted. I wanted to upset a few of you who were really like orgasming about yesterday's 9-goal ridiculousness. But it was 1-1. It's advantage Arsenal. Let's now have a look. I think let me talk about the performances, some individual performances tonight. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to be negative at some points on our players because, you know, otherwise, what's the point? You know, I'm not a puppet. There are things I wanted to see, which I didn't see. Jean Oblak for Atletico. I'll start with my Atletico boys. He did a pretty decent job. I think him tracking that penalty, although he didn't catch it from Gyökeres, he's a decent keeper, but he only had 2 shots, I think, to face today. We did not give him enough headaches because these guys at the back for Atletico, these guys know how to defend. They're almost as good as our boys. Aye, no good, no good. Midfield, I thought Koke was absolutely sensational tonight, guys. I cannot lie. Koke was on point. He was everything that was working well for Atletico came from Koke. And then he took out Simeone. Did he take out his own Simeone and brought in Lenormand, put in a central midfielder for the second half? And that really gave them a lot more body and a lot more, you know, it stopped all our forays, all that success we had in the first half. It stopped it. Because for me, our starting lineup wasn't exactly fantastic or, you know, a winning one. But we looked better than we expected to look. I'll bet you we all sat there thinking, oh, we're not doing too badly for this first half. But that's because we probably had a bit more extra room in the middle. I mean, they made Zubimendi actually look half decent and he's terrible. Ademola Lookman should have put Atletico ahead, but he kicked that ball straight into the keeper. Then there was one which went wide. He's a fantastic player, but I think he was a bit short today. Julián Álvarez, I hope he's injured. He came off, he limped off at the end of that match. I hope it's more permanent because I don't want to see him in the next leg. I love him, but I don't want to see that man in the next leg. I do not need this kind of headache. This guy was on fire tonight. He was absolutely sensational. Even Antoine Griezmann was on fire. These boys, yeah? Hey, they played some great football. Some of the moves they were making, especially in the second half, were absolutely sensational. Before they got their penalty, they were cooking the kind of threats that Raya was seeing. And funny enough, yeah, it turns out tonight there were more shots taken by our two teams than there were in last night's match. So it says a lot. Everyone was praising these guys. They were useless because we are very good defensively. So if you take that shot, it's getting blocked. Those guys, no one was bothering to block any shots, which is literally like, it's ridiculous. How do you analyze such lack of professionalism? Our boys, Atletico and us, very professional. Love it. But yeah, Julián Álvarez, Antoine Griezmann were fantastic tonight, honestly. If anything, I want to give Koke. Oh, who should I give man of the match? Koke or Álvarez? I'm going for Koke, to be honest. I really enjoyed his performance. That's man of the match for Atletico. He was their best player, in my opinion. And it's always right. You know, anyway. Let's go now to my boys, Arsenal. Oh my goodness, David Raya. Usually I give you all the praise. What I love about David Raya is when a ball comes floating over the top, you're going to catch it. But there were a few times we had Julián Álvarez's shot come off the post. You didn't get that. But there were also other opportunities. I think you had 2 or 3 good saves. Then that penalty, you didn't even flinch. You really need to work on your penalty saves because it's not good enough. Piero Hincapié, honestly, yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. Of course, he was under quite a lot of pressure tonight, but I just feel like he does a great job all the time. Let's go back to the other fullback on the right back, Ben White. Okay, all I can say about Ben White, yeah. In fact, I'm not even going to talk about Ben White. I'm going to talk about Julián Timber. Julián Timber, I really appreciate your Bible verses, and tonight's Bible verse, I think it was from Corinthians or something. Thank you so much. It was lovely. It was beautiful. But when the hell can you pray for your own body to be fit? That groin injury needs to end. Can you be ready in the next 5-6 days? We need you, bro. This is not the time. This is not the time to be feeling your groin hurting. I don't know what you're gonna do. I've got a rosary. I am taking out my rosary and I am doing 2 decades of my rosary for that groin injury because anything else is not acceptable. Ben White, he wasn't the worst, but you can see the errors he makes. You can see the errors he makes, and it's not the worst, obviously. For me, I don't want, he's not the worst, to be honest, but and that penalty really was really unlucky, but I blame Arteta. He should have started Mosquera. You should have started Mosquera. Did you see the shot Mosquera had when he came on that one? You know, he's learning. He is learning. Arteta, you made some mistakes. I'm going to come for you at the end. Our centre-backs, Big Gabby, your pass completion today was absolutely terrible. Why are you losing? In the first half, he was the worst one for making a clean pass. Very bad. He needs to work on that. I thought you were Brazilian. I thought you were Brazilian. Anyway. William Saliba, there were a few areas of weakness, but to be honest, he was pretty good there. And our penalty, didn't come from the centre-backs, so they were doing what they needed to do. Martin Odegaard, I know he came off, but I think he came off because Arteta knows we need him on Saturday against Fulham. It was not because of performance issue. I know he should have taken a shot first time at that opportunity when he got that ball from Gyökeres. He didn't. He took 3 touches and then he was blocked. That's just the way it is. But the fact is, we look better when he is playing. We look more in control, probably because we are in control because he keeps the ball for 6-10 touches. So no chance for anybody to get it. But he's being kept for next week. You have to remember he only played his 90 minutes. Newcastle. Was it Newcastle the other match? Sporting? Anyway, he played quite a lot. He's played quite a lot, so he needs a bit of rest because you know how fragile this guy is. The minute they badge him wrongly, he's down forever. So I think that's why he was brought off, because we have to think about Saturday as well. And we were 1-0 up. We looked like we could control the game. He came off and Eze came on. Eze, I wish both these players had started the game. I think would have won it, because Eze came on and then he had to get used to the pitch. He was slipping and sliding at some points. Declan Rice was playing a lot further up and he was sensational. He was doing what he was doing last season when he was playing with Thomas Partey. He trusted Thomas Partey to protect it, because Declan Rice is one of these players who takes on so much responsibility. He blames himself for anything that goes wrong. But he was doing that, People are saying they swapped positions. I don't know. The fact is, I don't see what Martin Zubimendi adds to the Arsenal team in a positive way, in a body of work. I don't see it. And I've just come to accept that I don't see it, but my brother said, well, you are top of the league. You are in the semi-final of the Champions League. He must be doing something right. So I've got a blind spot. I just can't see him. I just don't see it. I saw him do something interesting at some point on the right wing. I mean, it was a back pass after that. But sorry. I just have to accept that I do not appreciate Martin Zubimendi. And I hope by next season, I'll be able to see and appreciate it. The other day, I even went and rewatched a couple of games. I still didn't see it, guys. I just have to accept it. Okay, should I start with Martinelli or Madueke? Martinelli. Martinelli tracks back. So I understand the decision to start Martinelli because we needed somebody. Arteta is scared of his own shadow. He's scared of going behind because he knows he can't score more than 1 or 2 goals in a game. He knows that. He starts Martinelli, had no luck. He was useless on that right wing. I don't think I saw him cross a ball in. And even when you cross a ball in, there's nobody in there to meet it, but he didn't. He didn't get a chance to curl. Oh, he got a chance to curl a ball in once, I think. I don't remember. It was so unmemorable. That's just a fact. Noni Madueke was our best attacking player before he went off. He was direct. He was doing crazy things. Oh my goodness, he was fantastic. End product, 0. But sometimes you just need that, wake them up a little bit. But it was also, at some points, he was quite easy to defend against, and his dribbles just didn't come off. But in terms of directness and attempts. He had that beautiful curled shot that went just wide. Yeah, beautiful. He did okay today. And he was very upset when he came off. I don't know why he was shouting at somebody. I don't know why you're upset, bro. You're probably going to play against Fulham anyway. You need a rest. And you've got a cast on your hand. So chill out. Up front, we had Viktor Gyökeres, who was absolutely beautiful today. Oh my goodness. Please, Arteta, do not sub this guy off. Why do you do this? So you bring on Jesus. What did Jesus do when he came on? Nothing. Nothing. You just need to make sure you tell these guys, move forward, get to the edge of the box and make sure that ball finds Viktor Gyökeres is going to find something to do with it. Look, we won a penalty because he was pushed down. You know, did you see some of those, like when he got the ball? I mean, there was a time where he lost it and I was like, he can't control the ball, can he? But you know, like he had a few opportunities where he got the ball and the defender could not do anything. He couldn't get anywhere near him. This guy is it. Stop taking him off. Gabriel Jesus should play just on the side. In fact, I would say Jesus and Gyökeres. Make Jesus play on that left wing. I don't care which way, instead of Martinelli. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. Because, okay, then we lose that bit of like tracking back and defensive discipline that you want. But whatever. Don't mess with me. Anyway. So the subs that came on, Leo Trossard did absolutely nothing when he came on. He came on with 25 minutes to go, 68 minutes, 0. Absolutely terrible showing. Every shot that he tried was straight into somebody's body, very little chance to. But then again, you know, like he was closed down very quickly, but he hasn't played for a long time. So, you know, that's a problem when you're playing at this level, you know, these guys are sharp. PSG, that's what, yesterday I was talking nasty about PSG, but PSG will eat us alive. PSG, they'll eat us alive. Do you know how fast those guys close up and move the ball? Okay, play with us, play with this if you want. Bukayo Saka came on for Noni and he did absolutely nothing. You never convince me. He did nothing with the ball. He got it, he slipped, he got it, he did what? He got it, he tried this pass. There was no directness from him. Although some of the movement improved, actually. We looked a lot better, more in control the last 15 minutes, I think. But it was not, the improvement did not really justify the changes. You know, we didn't benefit anything from it. Although, to be fair, we had that penalty, which was incorrectly ruled off. So maybe I'm being too harsh. Jesus came on. He did absolutely nothing. Christian Mosquera came on for Ben White and immediately came on. He had that chance. What's this? He had that chance which was saved by Oblak. And yeah, lovely. It was absolutely okay. When I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, let's do 2-2. When we scored the first goal, I said, come back in, bring the boys in. I wanted all these changes. By the way, I wanted all these changes that Arteta made. I didn't see the penalty coming, you know, but I said, score 2, take it back to the Emirates and win 1-0 there. But it looks like we have to do a lot more. We'll have to go for it when we go to the Emirates. But I feel our midfield, and this guy, what's his name? Zubemendi never gets injured, so we can't even force him out by some mystical powers. Yeah, I just have to wait on the decision because I don't want him playing in the next leg. I don't want him playing in the next leg, to be honest. He is not a plus to anyone else. I don't know who else. We don't have anyone else. We need some positivity. Rice took on that positive thing, but it has to be the right balance in the next leg to make sure that we can absorb the pressure that Atletico are going to bring and take advantage of the chances to score. Who's going to provide those chances, though? But it has to be Eze, Odegaard starting, Martinelli starting, Rice starting. The problem is Zubemendi, who I know Arteta is going to start, but we also need cover for Zubemendi. You see, that's the reason he plays. We've got nobody else in that position who can do better than him because he's done the minutes, so he's very fit. Bringing Norgard in to play that role, which Rice usually plays, so that Rice can play the position that Zubimendi is supposed to play, but he's so bad at. But I don't think Norgard would be up to the same level. We should try it definitely, but I don't think it will be in the Champions League unless, it's an emergency. We should have started this against lesser teams, but we've always been scraping through. Anyway, I am waffling now. I'm thinking of all the possibilities. Whatever the case, our result was 1-1 in the end. It is still a great result because I wanted 0-0. It's very disappointing, but you know what? This should be enough motivation for the team next week to say, you know what? You were shafted unfairly. You're not going to get anything easy. You need to work for this and get the decisions yourselves by making sure you slot 3 goals in that back of the net. So yeah, that was it. Right, that is me for the Arsenal game. We know what happened in the PSG versus Bayern Munich game. It is advantage Bayern Munich in my opinion. Despite PSG winning 5-4, I think at home Bayern would be motivated. They know they can score past. They can outscore PSG because PSG are great as well. They can score 10, but I reckon that Bayern can score even more, especially at home with the personnel that they have got and just seeing the weaknesses they've already faced against PSG. So for me, I am predicting next round is going to be Bayern going through. And I am just going to put my, be brave and go for an Arsenal Bayern final, which I said it before. But yeah, it could be Bayern, it could be PSG. I can't see it. PSG versus Atletico, but I'm going for a Bayern Arsenal final. Let me know, guys, what do you think? Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.